Construction of new homes is falling at the worst possible time. This was a newsletter that I read yesterday that came in on my weekly subscription from The Peak, which, as a Canadian, I highly recommend that you all subscribe to and read because it reports on everything related to Canadian economics, housing, uh, lifestyle, all of it, you name it, politics. It's very well written. Anyhow, I started to dive into the article, and for those of you that know me, you know that I'm a real geek and I absolutely love numbers and stats, and I research crap like crazy. So I immediately go into Stats Can, Trading Economics, and Statista to see all the numbers of why are we possibly seeing housing starts fall to this level right now. I mean, for me, I'm in real estate, so there's an obvious answer to it. So I don't want to look at this from a myopic viewpoint because the optics are quite obvious. And I thought I would do a little bit of reading on stats in Canada for our population growth and what housing starts are and how it was related. And the information that I found was actually quite shocking. So let me jump right into this. So on Stats Can, they report what our population is, what the total population growth is. Then they actually give a breakdown of what the natural population growth is, meaning naturalized Canadians, to the immigrant population growth. And this is where it gets really, really interesting. So then I threw in housing starts. So I'm going to start by saying in July 1st, 2015, our population was 35 million. I'm just going to round the numbers off here. Population growth was only 270,000. We had housing starts that year of 216,000 units. This is all in the month of July. So the natural population was 117,000. The immigrant population was 176,000. So reasonably close numbers. Jump forward to 2016, population jumps up to 36 million people. We had housing starts down to 199,000. Naturalized Canadian population increase of 122, and the immigrant population breakdown was 303,000. So we have double 406,000 total population growth that year, and the housing starts were half of that at 199. So I can already start seeing the problem here. Next year, 2017, 36 million people. We grew again by 434,000 people coming in, and naturalized Canadian, we only had 229,000 housing starts. So again, double the amount of population growth and half of the housing starts. 106,000 naturalized Canadians, however, 319,000 immigrants. See a pattern here? Following year, it starts to get progressively worse, actually. 37,527,000 people came in. Housing starts are only 201,000 units. The naturalized population is 93,000 Canadians, 426,000 immigrants. See a pattern? So I'm not going to read every single year, but I'm going to jump to where it starts getting interesting. What I will tell you, though, is the natural population increase from Canadians decreases literally every year from the very beginning almost. So 93,000 down to 90 to 74 to 55 to 44 to last year of only 27,000 new Canadians essentially came into the country. Whereas the immigrant population was reasonably controlled at the beginning. 2021 was the best year for the least amount of immigrants coming into the country. And then the numbers go ballistic. So in 2022, our population increased to 38,939,000. We had 699,000 of a population growth, only 277,000 housing starts, 44,000 naturalized Canadians being born, 654,000 immigrants. 2023, population jumps up to 40 million. We have an increase of 1,158,705. We have 253,000 housing starts. Of that breakdown, naturalized Canadian population, 27,000. Immigrant population, 1,131,000. By the way, StatsCan also reports that we are sitting at 41 million. So we've already increased from December of last year by April 1st, because they reported the first 2 quarters, by 1 million people. So, as a former business owner of a manufacturing company, I have to tell you, being fiscally responsible, I'll give you a little scenario of something I went through. We were approached by Hallmark Corporate to purchase our product, and we went through all the data with them, what the expectations were, etc. We went back to our offices, went over everything, and here's what happened. We did a breakdown of what our expectations were for us to fulfill orders to the number of stores between Canada and the US. I had to calculate the raw material increase, where are we going to store the raw materials? Do we have enough staff? Do we have enough packaging? Do we have enough manufacturing space? Do we have enough storage warehouse space? Do I have enough office staff to facilitate in the timelines that they need? What is this going to do to our existing business? I always followed the 80-20 rule, which was 80% small business, 20% corporate business. So when I ran all of those numbers and did all the calculations on that, we actually turned down Hallmark Corporate because our company was too small to be able to accommodate their expectations in the timeline that they needed. So I'm going to change that scenario to where we are within our own country right now in Canada, and where we have actually been since 2015. And we do not have the systems set up in place. We do not have enough skilled labor to be able to build the housing that we need for the naturalized Canadian population, at least in the beginning. We do now, when you see the numbers. I don't understand why the federal government isn't putting all of these numbers together of, this is what the population growth is of the naturalized Canadians. This is what we are capable of building. This is what we should be allowing in for immigration in order to facilitate and sustain the requirements that our country needs. Doesn't make any sense to me. I really, at this juncture, don't even know what to say anymore, other than we need to vote them out. We need to send letters to our local municipalities, provincial, federally. We need to vote them out. We need to look at the policies of all the federal leaders and what their plan is to make these changes that we need. We don't even have enough jobs for our existing young people right now. Had a great conversation this morning with a trainer, and he was saying the same thing, that if he had young children right now, he doesn't even know if he would encourage them to go to university. Rather, he would encourage them to get into a trade. Funny enough, I had that same conversation with my daughter right now, because my children are struggling finding jobs in their respective careers as well. So this is a huge problem, and I just want to say that in direct reference to this article of construction of new homes is falling at the worst possible time, it's always been the worst possible time. The federal government, obviously in lockstep with the Bank of Canada, keeping our interest rates low, printing all of this money, squelching the economy during COVID. All of these things have contributed to this trifecta of a disastrous situation that we are in right now. We definitely need policy changes to be put into place, and we need more accountability for our politicians. That's all. It's my little rant for today. Peace out. Love y'all. Ciao for now. Bye.